On this episode of Barn Find Appraisals, we'll go over a 1969 Camaro X55 Orange Super Sport 350 automatic car, and we'll find out exactly what it's worth. We can actually take a look at the VIN number here on the cow, like all the 69 Camaros. And we can see that it is a 1243 car, which means that it was a V8 from the factory. Now, of course, this car still retains its original cow tag, and we can see that it has an X55. Now, that means that this car would be a Super Sport 350 car from the factory. However, they remake these cow tags, so what we'll do is figure out how you tell whether it's a Super Sport. Now, we've gone over some of the features to tell whether it's an SS car or a Z car in a previous video, but we can obviously tell that this is a Super Sport car because it has a dual fuel rail. It has a sending line and a return line from the factory, which would be correct. Also, it has the disc brakes. The hidden VINs in this car are correct. The main thing that we'll go over is the value of this car. Now, it looks like it came out of a lake, and a lot of people have asked me what it's worth. The problem is we have to figure out whether this motor or not is the real SS 350 for this car. If we take a look at the pad back here, we can see that there is a 72 right here, and that means that this motor was built in 1972, which is not correct for this car. And that's definitely going to affect the value if it doesn't have a numbers matching motor in this condition. The most important part to determine what this car is worth is the overall condition. Now, the roof on this car is pretty decent. Not a lot of scaling on this car. It didn't have a vinyl top, so it didn't get rusted out. I've removed the windshield, and we can see here that the B-pillars are in pretty decent shape as well. The cow, it's actually pretty decent for the car. We can see that we have a little bit of rust in here and in the front of the cow as well. But overall, where the doors hang, you know, everything else is pretty decent, and it is savable. The good thing that this Super Sport Orange 69 Camaro has going for it is that it actually still has the seats. Now, to a lot of people, these seats look like they're completely roached out, and that's correct. However, when you're restoring a car, you need the cores of the seats, and each of these seats are worth about $400 a piece in this condition. And we have the back ones as well. When we take a look at the total value of the car, the seats definitely help. When you find a car like this in a junkyard or in someone's backyard, the main thing is it's structurally sound. Now, we can see that I can stick my hand through the floor here, but where you actually weld the floor pans to is the inner rockers. And this car actually still has decent inner rockers. Now, if you were to find this car and take a look in the trunk, you would absolutely be terrified. However, we have to remember that this is basically all one piece of metal that you can buy pretty cheap online. They make every single part for this car brand new today in 2022. The most important thing we have to look at are the rear frame rails, which hold the back of the car together. Now, we can't really see those from this spot, but we'll check those out right now. Now, being a Super Sport car, this car would have had dual exhaust, just like the Z28 video that we did, and we can tell because of these two holes right here that would have held on the dual exhaust plate. The main thing that we want to take a look at is the frame rails for the car, which is this piece of metal right here that runs the whole way back to the tail pan. Now, you can see that pretty much everything else is gone, but these frame rails, they're still solid. Now that we have a better picture of kind of the way this car looks and how it's put together, we can figure out exactly what it's worth. Now, if this was just a base 307 six-cylinder car, it would probably be about $2,500 to $3,000 if you had a title for the car. It is savable, but there's a lot of work to be done. However, this car is an orange car. It's an X55 Super Sport car. It's not a big block car, so we're not really in the money, but we do have something when we're done. This car, in my opinion, on Barn Find Appraisal, would be worth around $4,500 to $5,000 in this condition. Now, this car does not have a title, and if it did have a title, I think it would be worth around $5,500 total to $6,000. If you disagree, comment below. If you like this type of content, learning what cars in this condition bring, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. Again, my name is Parker with Backyard Barn Finds, and this was Barn Find Appraisal.